Welcome to the So Much More podcast, where we talk with people in the custom window treatment, soft home furnishings industry, and so much more. I'm your host, Seal DeGuglielmo. My guest on the podcast today is Morris Mayer. He's an entrepreneur and a pastor. He is the CEO of Morris Mayer Services Group Incorporated, overseeing several small businesses and a charity. These include Plaza Park Interiors, which is a 12-year-old custom drapery and upholstery workroom to the trade and contract accounts. Plaza Park Cleaning Services, which offers fine drapery and upholstery cleaning and stain shield fabric protection. And Valley Interiors, offering custom window treatments and upholstery in northern New Jersey. He recently launched R2A Custom Furniture Frames, offering ready-to-assemble high-end custom furniture frames to smaller custom workrooms that may not have the space or the carpenters on staff, and has several new products and services to be released this year. Morris has nearly 4 decades of experience in the design industry in every area from design to field installations. He's also a Lutheran pastor, a calling which started at the same time he started his business, and he recently celebrated his 10-year ordination anniversary in January. And we'll talk a little bit about his path there. He co-founded goonsforgood.org, a charity that inspires community action like supporting local soup kitchens and those struggling in the community. They also support cancer patient and caregiver support, developmental and physical disabilities, and veteran services. Additionally, because all of the above is not enough, Morris manages the recently launched The White Room at 707. It's a new showroom space dedicated to events such as educational workshops, live music, and community events. Morris is known for out-of-the-box thinking and connecting people to opportunities that foster their success and growth. I really enjoyed my conversation with Morris, and I hope you enjoy hearing from him. Morris, thank you so much for agreeing to do this with me today. I'm really happy to sit down and talk with you. How are you?
I'm great, Seal. Thanks for having me. I don't do these often. So when I went on your circle time and everything, I said I have to sit down with you because there's so much to share.
Yeah, and most of my guests have not done many podcasts. So I love having conversations with people in our industry. And one of the particular reasons I reached out to you was because I noticed how positive and upbeat you always were when you were answering questions, as well as always offering to help. So we'll get into that in a couple minutes. But why don't you tell us a little bit about who Morris is, where you live in the world, and a little bit about your life?
Okay, well, I'm Morris Mayer. I live in Westchester, New York, a town called Scarsdale. I was born and raised in Brooklyn, New York, which is part of New York City. I own Plaza Park Interiors for the past 12 years. I've been in the industry since 1987 in August, where I started as an installer's helper full-time. And now I run several businesses that are related in the industry, Plaza Park Interiors being the main one, the custom workroom to the trade. I also have a Hunter Douglas showroom, which is called Valley Interiors in Bergen County, New Jersey, as well as Plaza Park Cleaning Services, where we clean and protect draperies and carpets and fine furnishings. So we're able to maintain what we sell later on. So it's basically, I'm also a Lutheran pastor for Village Lutheran Church in Bronxville, New York. And our furniture showroom, which is to the trade, has become a hotspot for workshops and events, and it's called the White Room at 707.
Okay. And what do you do in your spare time, Morris?
Cultivate new ideas, dream, spend time with people with energy. Just, it fills.
It's funny, Morris, towards the end, I always ask people, what about people would surprise you? And I don't want you to answer yet. What surprised me in reading your bio was that you were a pastor. It surprised me, and it didn't. You have a great way of talking with people. And I've had several conversations recently about reading posts and texts and how you're putting your own voice or your own thoughts into it. But I have to say, without a doubt, every time I've read yours, they're very supportive and helpful to other people, and they also have a very positive tone about them. So I'm surprised to read that you were a pastor, but not really surprised when I see how you interact with everyone. So
that training certainly comes in handy.
I would love to know how you decided a little bit more about your career path. So you're an installer's helper.
Yeah.
How did that then develop from there?
Well, I was born and living in the projects of Brooklyn. So the object was always to get out.
Mm-hmm.
So I was offered a job when I was just turned 19, and I was going to community college where at that time, we just didn't go away. It was just, you went local. That was sort of the path of Brooklyn. And I was offered a job, 40 hours as an installer's helper, a good friend of mine who became good friends. And it was $5.25 an hour and $200 a week. I did the math in my head quick. It was like almost $900, taking home $700. I'm like, wow, rent, food, this, here we go. And then I moved up to warehouse person, like stock person, checking in the fabrics. And then after a while, I put all the fabrics away back and forth. So I knew all of the fabrics. All the salespeople were busy in the first place I worked with, which was a retail. And they were asking me, oh, do you know this Mario Boato with a chintz blue background with a ribbon going? I'm like, oh, that's this name, Giselle. So I pull it out, and then they're like, how much a yard is it? I'm like, oh. So I run over to one of the salespeople, back and forth. Next thing you know, I had the first estimate written because I was able to calculate for them. Because so I just grew into that. I wound up managing that. Then I left to open my own business. That failed. Then I went to work again and contract drapery, like for hotels and things like that.
Okay.
Left again to open my own shop. Boom, closed down again, 9/11. We opened 9/10, so that wasn't a great timing and everything. And we had all of the hotel contracts, like with everything. So I left, had my connections, all the things I built up, boom. So then I went to work for a cleaning company for 10 years and learned more about the cleaning business. And then we sort of blended the two together, where I started a workroom in the cleaning service. And then 11 years later, I sort of outgrew that, and I knew, the path wasn't there. That was a 10-year learning how to do this right the third time. And now we're 12 years in, where before none lasted more than a year.
Okay. So it's going to be very interesting when we talk about the definition of success and failure, because not everyone would keep going after two failures like that. So what made you keep going? What made you say, how did you look at those first two failures and say, third time's a charm?
You didn't plan it. It just sort of, the energy comes around, and, it just becomes time. You cultivate, you surround yourself with the right people, positive people that support you. Yes, you could do it again. Not like, oh, this is twice. What are you going to try again? You have a good job, you're doing commissions, you control your own destiny anyway. What do you need all of this? I said, it's not for me. This is greater than me. And I always envisioned having a lot of, changing a lot of lives and being able to do ministry within that same scope, as opposed to being a pastor, in the four walls of the church, which that's great on Sunday. I'm able to minister. I have 30 people with families and, community plus church. So it's all, I feel the energy made everything for that moment. And it just captures you just capture that kind of positive energy, and you surround yourself with the right people.
Okay. Morris, based on the fact that you started two businesses and they were not successes, did you ever think about quitting and only working for someone else?
Yeah. I did. After the 9/11 one, I was like, wow, I can't rebound from this. Like, what it takes. Because if I owned it and there was 30 people, working for me, like, whoa, what would happen? I would feel, not for me, like, whoa, 30 lives.
Right.
And then then through Plaza Park, I had to navigate through COVID during the shutdown, 20 people.
I was going to say, you've had a couple, I always ask, what are your biggest challenges? Those are two pretty significant challenges. So looking at those two as, okay, COVID and 9/11 for a business that's in New York, in the New York area, they have to be the two biggest challenges. But on a day-to-day basis, what would you say are some of the biggest challenges you encounter?
People not being open for change and being stuck in their ways, and especially stuck in ways of negativity, and sort of drains the energy from the room and from people around you. So the day to day is to keep, to stay motivated, first of all, for myself, because I have to project that, every day is going to be big when I get up, so I have to bring that energy. So I find the challenge is first bringing that kind of energy, getting to a point, then realizing when the energy is not there, but then being able to keep everybody motivated and having them see different ways and putting them in touch with people and connecting and just keep everything moving forward with positive energy.
So I'm curious, how do you do that for yourself? Like you said, first you've got to start with you, and you've got to be the driving force in that. So how do you keep that energy going for yourself? I mean, there are a lot of people who would say, okay, one business was stopped by 9/11, the second business was impacted by COVID. I'd throw my hands up and run in the other direction. What do you do to keep your motivation and your positivity going?
I like to create. I look at it from owning a workroom. I have the challenges of the financials and the estimates and things like that, and I don't really enjoy that part. But when I'm creative, I'm thinking about products, solutions, and I can get up in the morning and motivate and meditate and pray and just be in that and visualize. And once I could visualize it and see it, then I'm going out, and then that energy just attracts. So all of a sudden, when I'm done, a phone call happened that, whoa, you just attract energy. When you're going out negative, nobody's calling you. Things are going to go wrong. You're going to have mistakes. So I'm just training, and that's through personal development. And I have a business coach, which I've taken on my best friend from high school. His name is David from On the Path, and he has come on and become my CFO and COO, as well as coaching. So I spent the last year with him, and we started offering these types of workshops and coaching to our staff. And that's what he does. He's a public speaker and coach. So I've just been around him for the past year. So I've been able to achieve that on a more consistent basis. Okay. Therefore, more things are cultivating. I have, these businesses, there's 3 more that are like at the 70, 80, 90% pushing the needle. So it's about, myself and just thinking outward of all the people relying on me, not think of woe is me, I don't feel good, or, and knowing your limits as well is still a challenge.
Okay. All right. So do you have a definition for success?
People are success. It's like an overused word because it could look differently to different people.
Exactly.
To me, over the last, say, year and a half, with different things going on before that, where I had a dead spot for a couple of years, it's really just work-life harmony. You might have heard me say that in the past in some things. So it's just a matter of blending in the time with the family, friends, my pastoral care. I'm able to worship. I'm able to have my creative time. I'm able to have the time I need to work on the financials of the business and to be a good steward. So I look at being successful as being a good steward of your time that you're given, to spend it, wisely, family, friends, personally, and keeping that kind of harmony going. To me, that's a successful person.
Okay. I do love asking that question only because people do think of it so differently. And sometimes it has more of a financial answer, but it's almost never exclusively about money. It's almost always deeper than that with people. And I love asking the question.
Yeah, and I want to follow up with that because I don't look at the money at all as success, but over the 12 years and during the growth, that has impacted the business where I had to reach out for help for, okay, my friend Dave, he lost his corporate job when they were laying off like 10,000 people. I said, oh, I always need help. And, we've known each other for 40 years. Let's go make something happen. I'll create something. And now he's CFO and COO running the financials. He's running the day-to-day. We just started integrating that, and it's been great. I'm able to spend time with you on podcasts. I'm able to go help people on the different forums and on the different groups. I'm able to do what I love to do, which is, solve things and, get people unstuck.
Morris, you mentioned creativity, and I think that oftentimes in our industry, that word is directed towards the making of things and the making of products. And many of us think about our creativity in terms of what we're producing in our workrooms. And every time I hear you say the word, I'm thinking of it more in terms of the other things that you're creating, like connections, like events, like things like the White Room. And I'm going to have you explain that a little bit more. I know you mentioned it earlier, but tell us what the White Room is.
The White Room is our furniture showroom, which the clients come in when they want to buy custom furniture with the designer comes in with their client. It's a very private thing. And we sit, you like this down cushion? Do you like this? And then when the piece is ready, ready for a sit test, we take their actual sofa and they come and sit on it. And different cushions. You want a firmer, softer? We measure them. I'm like a tailor. I take out the tape measure, measuring their shoulders, the pitch and everything. So they get like their perfect fit. So that's our furniture showroom. And then when Dave came on board, he came in the first day. I was like, oh, here we are. And I go, here's our furniture showroom. He goes, wow, this would be a great workshop space. I'm like, oh, no. This is a furniture showroom. I don't want any of this like Tony Robbins type of things going on here. Our clients are very particular. And here we are a year and change later. We're one of the hottest spots now for, we're approached by different fabric mills and things like that, like Louvain Home, where we're authorized showroom of these fine Belgian linens. We're getting all these collaborations. People want to do presentations. Then we're doing different workshops now, like mental health workshops and also things for the trade. So Dave has 15 years of programming that he's done when he was doing it as a side hustle, doing corporate. Now he's able to unleash these. And together we're curating courses that are related to the trade. So you have like, say, Tony Robbins, that's just the name everyone knows. Yeah. Just picture that, but for the interior design trade only, to my clients, to workrooms. So taking that energy and people are just showing up, and then the connections, the creativity comes in the end result that I see with people when they come in. There's connections being made. Like we have a coffee house singer that was created, another, they're doing different things. And I see them performing at other like speakeasies, and they're just doing their thing, and they check in, they come to our events. We have people doing personal development, meditation stuff and speaking and learning how to podcast, and, all these great programs that we're cultivating.
Oh, that's amazing. So based on the idea of how you see success, do you feel like there's any one thing in particular that feels like your greatest success so far?
I'd say the ministry in Plaza Park, I would say, is being around, say, the same 15 to 20 people for the past 12 years. Like we have very, very little turnover.
That's amazing.
Which is unprecedented in the workroom. Is we actually have a waiting list for people that want to come in. As we build the budget, we have people that we're eyeing. Sometimes they know we're eyeing them. Sometimes they don't. And then we're like, oh, it's time. The energy comes. And I just missed that. What was the question? I lost you for a second.
Is there any one thing in particular that you feel is your greatest success so far?
Okay. Yeah, just seeing them, first of all, just from being their first job, now they own their own house. They have a nice car. They're doing their things with their family. They're able to attend events with their family because I offer flexible scheduling for everybody. So nobody has to ask me, I have my daughter's recital. Can I leave at 4:00? No. Here's the schedule. Here's what it is. Certain people have hourly that need that structure. I need to show up at 9:00. So but my greatest success is letting people also have that work-life harmony. I'm not just reaping benefits off of what Plaza Park and everything has done. It's everybody together. They buy houses. They're getting married. They're, just being part of their different events and just seeing the growth of everybody and people moving on, people that work for me own their own businesses and I do business with them. And then they're getting big contracts. And instead of it being like a lot of times in the industry, it's like you left, they're like, oh, look, he's got all these customers. They're watching them. I love seeing them win.
I love that.
I mean, like, wow. So just seeing them from coming in, hi, I need a job, or to, wow, now you're not, I'm bidding against you, but we're, co-opetition now. We're, I'm helping. I wind up becoming more of a mentor because they come to me, oh, boss, I got my first restaurant bid. Can you help me price the banquets? It was a lot. It was a $30,000 job. That could put him under if it's not calculated right. So I was really, that really warmed my heart when he actually came to me and just said, can you help me with this and figure it out and how much to make and if there's a mistake and what I need, what I should look out for. So that was a really great experience. And once I had that experience last year, that even propelled me to want there's other people out there in the industry. There's, so much to be done. I feel I had blinders on for so many years working in the business. And now that I took the right coaching and I hired the right people and put the right things in place, it really does work when you can, delegate. So delegation and, that's a long answer to
no, it's a great
question.
Answer. It's a great answer. So did I hear you just say co-opetition?
Mm-hmm.
I love that. I've never heard that word before.
Yeah. When you're in the industry and it's so small and you sort of have blinkers on, it's you and your work order and everything around you and your customer, people hounding you, and you're worried about the competition. Those are the people I reach out to at like when I'm stuck. Hey, Charlie, you have, what do you think? I can't get these clutches. You have any there? Or who can get? There's a group of us and we just reach out to each other and we're all doing the same thing, vying for the, similar clients. And we have a mutual respect and we even refer people to each other. Just different things. Oh, I might not do that. Oh, that's good for Charlie. We'll throw each other people. Oh, you're a better client. So we're able to even scope out the client. Oh, maybe that's a better client for you. If it's something that can be done. So most of my good friends are, in the industry.
Morris, I've heard that over and over again in this industry. And I many times on the podcast, I've talked about the people who lifted me up and helped me out in the beginning of my journey. And I remember introducing one of them to somebody outside of the industry and they said, aren't they your competition? And I was like, no, actually, they're part of the reason I'm still in business. But I've never heard that word before. And I love it.
Yeah, I picked it up at one of those, workshops.
Yeah, I love that.
That I went to. So.
All right. So, Morris, I'm always curious about how people handle mistakes and failures, and especially those people in the industry who have people working for them, because when someone who works for you makes a mistake, it's your mistake. You've got to cover it. But also because for someone who has started and closed two businesses, there's a different definition there. So I would really love to hear how you handle that with yourself and how you handle it when there's a mistake in business.
Well, just fast forwarding to like all the mistakes right now, they've enabled me to take on some of the most difficult and other projects that other people can't handle. And I would have never been able to handle it unless I went through that experience of the mistake. Okay. So these mistakes, someone drilled it into my head many years ago that it's tuition. They don't teach you schooling for that kind of thing. So when there's a mistake, try to pay as little tuition as possible. But if something costs you $500, just look at it. That was a course that you took for this. And now I'm able to see that mistake and how I can solve an issue later on. Like I get called in for curved windows, bow windows, everything that I've lost lots of money on. I'm now called in, oh, can you help me with this? From other workrooms, from designers that use me just once in a while. So I'm able to use those. And when other people mistakes, it's just, why did you make the mistake? Is it carelessness? Is it lack of I training you? Did I miss something there? How can I support you not to have this, have this happen again?
Okay. I want to jump in and take a moment to thank the sponsors who make it possible for me to bring you the podcast each week. My sponsors are people in the industry that I have personally had a connection to, purchased from, or used their services. So it makes it really easy for me to tell you about them and the great things that they have to offer. Because I feel so strongly about education in our industry, I'm thrilled that as the owner of the Curtains and Soft Furnishings Resource Library, I can use the resources of the library to help support the podcast. The library hosts the industry's largest curated collection of educational resources for the custom home furnishings professional. Membership to the library gives you access to a wealth of downloadable reference materials, videos, live events, as well as a community of support to help you develop your design, sales, and fabrication skills, and to grow or start a business. Join the library today at csfrl.org. Angels Linings would like to invite you to become part of their family. With reputable lining comes exceptional customer service. Trust them with your linings like I do. You get 2 Tootsie Pops with every bolt of lining you receive. For smiles, satisfaction, and a sugar kick all around, call Angels Linings at 1-800-450-9368. The Workroom Channel is the premier online training provider for professional fabrication skills. Go to theworkroomchannel.com to browse the selection of anytime access courses created by industry experts. Watch detailed demonstration videos, download companion materials, and participate in private course discussion boards with your instructor and classmates from around the world. Start your course path today at theworkroomchannel.com. If you've listened to the podcast, you know how much I've learned from Michelle Williams. And I think most of my guests have mentioned taking at least one of her classes or gotten coaching from her. Her business is Scarlet Thread Consulting. Michelle loves to work with creative business owners to help them understand all aspects of their business and to use their gifts and talents to make it profitable. Michelle is a strategic profitability coach certified in the Profit First methodology, and she can be reached at scarletthreadconsulting.com. I've also mentioned my membership with the WCAA, and I'm now a gold level sponsor, where education, networking, visibility, and industry discounts are just a few of the benefits that are offered to our members. The Window Covering Association of America is the only national nonprofit trade association that's dedicated to the window coverings industry and the dealers, decorators, workrooms, designers, and installers that make up our membership. Join today at WCAA.org. WCAA, where you are never in business alone. I've also been extremely fortunate to be able to work with Merrill Y. Landis Ltd. It's a family-owned and operated custom workroom and product distribution company to the trade with over 70 years of experience. And in addition to their custom work, they offer a wide variety of decorative drapery hardware. They offer stout and flare 21 fabrics. They have Roman shade operating systems and assembly kits. They have motorization and workroom supplies, and they serve both designers and workrooms. And you can check out the MYL Advantage at mylLTD.com. Morris, this is a little off track, and we talked a little bit earlier about how you get yourself up, but do you ever find it difficult to be so positive? Is it ever a challenge for you to come across that way?
Every day.
Okay.
It's just staying aware. Just staying aware, knowing when to even what kind of energy, who am I being now walking in the room when they're expecting this and I'm going to bring them down. I could bring down a whole room, especially I'm the owner. If you're not the owner, someone come in, you could bring it down. But when I'm coming in and I walk through the doors and I've passed 20 different people saying good morning, this and that, if I walk in a different way, that could change the entire day for the entire company. Oh, what's wrong? Is there a problem? Agreed. So I just mentally prepare myself and I by waking up a lot earlier and having like a full day done before, 8 a.m., that's been the difference. So by the time I get in, I have a lot accomplished. I have wins. I have other people having wins. I go on calls. We text. I get motivational stuff texted to me. I send out stuff. So it's just a matter of spending that time with yourself and allotting that and just staying aware.
Okay. And I asked the question because I wanted to know if you're just naturally that upbeat and positive, or if it is something you have to work on.
I work hard. That's why the energy is so great, because that's how hard I'm working on it.
Okay. Morris, you've mentioned a lot of different methods of learning and coaching and being around people that uplift you. Are you a book reader? Have you read any books that have significantly impacted you?
Well, one specifically was the Emyth years ago.
Okay.
Which did help, but I find I don't have the patience to go through an entire book. I do a lot of articles and courses. I'll take 2 or 3 hour courses and things like that. I'm more of needing to listen to it than reading through it. If it's something I need to control that part. So when I'm reading, I'm just receiving. I could do a text version of the book that I could do online better than like holding the book. So,
gotcha. Okay. Do you use a lot of technology in your business?
We do. We try to be cutting edge when it comes to, say, project management and things like that. Have definitely helped us with workflow and knowing when things are ready, having things in place. Because for many years that plagued us. Client calling, where's my stuff? We have to run. Where's her stuff? We got to get it ready. And then you just look at it and you're like, 2 weeks. And that's like a default answer, even though could it be a week without knowing? Now we know, but it takes a lot. So we're using different tools. And I grew up with computers. One of my first gifts from my dad with his vacation pay was giving me a personal computer that was like $99. And I was programming that. And then when AI came back into the mix, it took the similar logic, and I just naturally grew to want to learn everything about it. So over the past 3 years, I've been right there from the beginning, learning different apps and testing things, and I use it. I help people make money with it. Like we mentor people, and they do like little chatbots or logo creation, and it's just part of like our mentorship program that we have. So I like using technology for like a power tool. It's not set where we're relying on it, but I use it to, for email crafting and things like that. It just takes away that blank screen from me, that blank slate, and gives you a format.
Okay. Yeah, I've just started using it a bit myself. And we actually did a class in the library on Circle Time, just knowing what questions to ask AI and things like that. And I'm finding it very fascinating. I'm enjoying learning about it as we go along here.
Yeah, I'm in an AI mastermind that I've been in for the past year, where you pay a monthly fee, and we're part of it. And it's just invaluable. You bring going to your teacher, with homework help. Oh, I need help coming up with content for my social media. And you go there and he unsticks you, and then next thing you know, you're posting content and things like that, because people are noticing that. So it's definitely the AI. And we offer that in our White Room as well. We have an AI at least once a month, teaching designers, realtors, and things like that to use in real life situations.
Okay. From a business standpoint, what are the 3 business items you could not live without?
Clarify business items.
Anything that you use to propel your business forward?
Oh, like the computer?
It doesn't have to be technology. I'm actually thinking your journal is probably one of the things that you could not live without. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's only in the last year, maybe year and change. I've always done it. That's the first active. So that is one of them. Second is, right now, it's community, having the right people around to bring this, because the dream,
Okay.
the things I want to do are so big that I can't even get them out. I have things over 10 years that are roaring to come out. And now that I have things in place, systematically, they're coming out. So I'd say the community I couldn't do without right now. So I'd say the computer, the community, and the family, which supports me in the business because they are there for the consoling part, the yucky part, the family part, where it's just, being a dad. How's dad feeling? How's my
Yeah.
husband feeling? That kind of thing. So that kind of support is part of the business because they're immersed in it.
Okay. That's it's always interesting to me to see what tools people use, and I mean that literally and figuratively, and I like that. Morris, what do you do extremely well?
Connect people with creative solutions. Like if I see you right now, I see you connecting with 5 different people that I know, and I can see what that looks like for each of you, the possibilities, at least
Oh,
in
wow.
some form.
Yeah.
When I'm talking to you, that's the energy that comes off. So I say,
Yeah.
and everybody knows that's the superpower. They want to have lab time with me. And things just cultivate. So that's my superpower, is just being able to see, to see you with a larger group, or with, collaborating with, on a grander scale with different people that I know that you didn't even know that they even existed.
Okay.
So it's seeing that, being creative solutions.
Okay. I love that. What do you not do so well?
Structure, manage time,
Okay.
structure. I constantly need to be reminded, definitely with time management is Achilles heel. It's always been.
Okay. I know Dave has stepped in from the financial aspect of things. Does he steer you with that part of it as well?
Yeah, he's the coach, and that's his thing. So, now I'm able, he's using my expertise. I'm using his expertise. I'm teaching him the business. He's teaching me. As he's teaching me about the coaching business and the personal development, I'm immersing it, and I'm taking it on as the form as, okay, I'm going to be teaching it, but I'm actually using it myself as well.
Right,
So I'm taking those tools, and what's working for me, I want to teach that. I'm not just, there's people that say, oh, I could teach you how to do this, and they didn't really do it yet. They just have a great idea. They did something on ChatGPT, how to make money fast. So that's.
I'm curious, Morris, for someone who's been in the industry for a while and now working with Dave, as you said, like teaching him the business. I'm often intrigued by the suggestions and ideas that somebody has about my business when they have no history with it. And I try to be really open to, just because it hasn't been done before doesn't mean I shouldn't try it or something like that. I know you're very open and positive, but how are the interactions with him sometimes, not having a window treatment, interior design, furniture background? Like, does he ever say things to you, oh, we should be doing this, and you just kind of look at him and go, that's not how we do this? like I'm curious what that dynamic is like for the two of you.
Yeah, in the beginning, it was like, we wouldn't do that. Now it's being more patient and just knowing he doesn't know.
Right.
So yeah, it's teaching him, and I enjoy watching him learn because, like I mentioned, we were going to do some furniture framing, and he wanted to jump in and like start helping make the frames. So I could jump in and make the frames. You don't need an extra carpenter. I'm like, oh, you're going to run the business. But he's just so anxious to want to be a part and learn everything. It makes it that much better because he's willing to learn. And, I give people challenges and I let them run with it and fail. And even if I have to pick it up on the back end. So just doing that. But there were moments where, in the first couple of months, I didn't think it was going to work out at all. I didn't give him a chance. I wasn't patient. And then, a couple of months later, we reconnected again to say, okay, now a different need arose where now all of a sudden with the things I wanted to do, we need more financial management, financial responsibility and everything. So that's where that came in. But now it's still a work in progress because we're just launching new SOPs for everybody, new processes, new tools, switching over accounting systems. So we're all learning it together.
Okay.
Again.
All right. I love that. What do you love best about this business?
No 2 days are ever the same. No
Oh,
2 hours. What you think you want to, what you think you have planned, think again. Just
oh,
have
if
three
that isn't
things
the
you want to
truth.
do. Oh yeah,
Yeah.
that's really what, and I enjoy that because I need that constant change. I always have, 10 things going on, moving a little bit at a time. So I
10
really
sounds like
enjoy
an
that part.
underestimate to me, Morris. I think you've got a whole lot more than 10 things going on at one time.
Yeah, they're trying to contain me a little bit.
What do you love least about this business?
I About the window treatment, I think it gets a lot of negative attention where it's a dying art. People don't want to work. I get a lot of that, and that sort of is the least part. And even trying to throw positive energy, it's like an entire 40 years like that, or 30 years, and and then people feed into that same thing. Yeah, I have the same. Yeah, they're lazy. So an industry group winds up being about how young people are lazy. That's the whole point. That's really turns me off from.
Okay.
I
Yeah.
like to provide value and positivity to it. So that's the one thing, is people thinking, oh, must be hard to find an upholsterer. It's a dying art. Even the public realizes it's hard to find. So
Right.
it's trying to change the narrative of the industry.
It's so interesting to me because, again, I think when you are positive and upbeat, your perception of things like that is different. Susan Woodcock and I were talking about how many new younger people were at the last custom workroom conference. And I think 40%, I might be wrong on that figure, but 40% were there for the very first time. And then like a week later, I heard somebody say something about no one new is coming into this industry. I'm like, were we at the same conference? Because I'm pretty sure there were lots of new people coming in. So I do think perception is reality. That how you look at the world is how the world is. So I think that's important. All right, since we spilled the beans on the fact that you're a pastor, what else about you would surprise people?
I was born of the Jewish faith, and I went to Orthodox Hebrew school until high school, and I was set to be a rabbi. So I went from rabbi, and that's where I met Dave in my first day in a public school, where it was all different. We all didn't dress the same. It was like, whoa, look at this. It's like, wow. And then, I met Dave. So that would be surprising to people, that I was going to be a rabbi, and now I'm, a Lutheran pastor.
Yeah, that's a really big change, Morris. Was that a long-term change for you, or was it something that impacted you quickly?
I felt it's part of my calling, that same energy that I talked about. I'm called to do what I'm doing. So I had met my wife, my future wife, and she had a 5-year-old at the time with special needs. So she would go to church and go with her. We go into a relationship, and then they would go and I would stay because I'm Jewish. I don't go to church. I can't.
Right.
Church is bad. So then they would go, and then came over me. I'm like, people go. I visioned Little House on the Prairie years ago. I'm dating myself, but they'd run as a family to the church, and then they'd have coffee and fellowship and everything. So I said, oh, how about I just go with you? As just to be there, just to show up. It's and then next thing you know, I hear Old Testament, and then I was like, oh, sounds right. And then the gospel sort of, not to get religious, so I don't like to bring a lot of religion to it, but it sort of completed it for me because I started going on my own without them needing to be there. They would miss, and I'm going. And then I went through an entire Holy Week, sort of on my own when they were on vacation. I experienced that whole Good Friday, Thursday, Easter. I was like, and then, I called my pastor, and they said, okay, I called the pastor. I said, I want to be baptized.
Okay. Oh, that's fascinating, Morris. So I'm really anxious to ask you this question. Where do you see yourself in 5 years?
That's a great question. I see myself doing the same thing. I don't see myself. I feel really good about myself and about the people around me. And I just see it being more impactful, like just affecting a lot more people. Because
Okay.
the ripple effect of what I think, one of my coaches told me, the people that you think you impacted, think of compound interest on an IRA. It compounds because they're bringing that to their lives and to their people. So I had this minimal feeling, I'm only helping 30 people. I need 200. But I know that 30 is 300 or whatever that. So now that there's no number, I just want to do the same thing and just see how many people could be, that we could impact with and change lives.
Morris, when I talk to people who have hired people for their business, one of the many things that they talk about is, knowing that they are responsible for their earning a living and their salary. But when you talked about it, it was as much, actually more about what the rest of their lives are like. And you're saying the impact you've had on somebody. Okay, so you hired somebody and they just needed a job. Now they're getting married, then they're buying a house and they're having a family. So that's where that ripple effect is. And you might hear about it in passing. Oh, I'm getting married, or, oh, we just had a baby, but you're not necessarily experiencing the everyday ripple effect of it. So that's really fascinating. I love hearing about that.
Yeah. And I connect that to my time management because have to go to an appointment. Then, one of our, it could be one of our Roman shade makers. Like, we haven't connected in a while. I always make sure I have connect. What's going? Oh, your daughter. Wow. These cupcakes. Oh, she made them. Yeah. And she's selling them on Instagram. Like, oh my goodness, you started with me and now and now your daughter is an entrepreneur within the thing. And he goes, yeah, you teach me. I'm like, oh, this is nice. So
that's awesome.
I lose time by connecting with people, and I stay in a conversation where before I used to just run away. Oh, I got to get back to my office. And now I know that, oh, you have a recital on Friday. Oh, you're going through hard times. Oh, unfortunately your cousin is ill and you need more time. So I'm aware of the people around me. So if they're not performing or they have something going on, I can see it where before it was built up resentment. Now over the years, I've just evolved into being a better listener and being more present with people.
Okay. All right. In what ways do you think you're resilient?
I think in every way possible. Just the why is bigger than anything that, like, for me personal, like would be, it's bigger than how I feel.
Mm-hmm.
So the resiliency is just the natural energy from the universe, from God, however you want to do it. It's recognizing it and knowing how to turn it up and turn it down.
Okay.
For me, it's turning it down a lot because I'll just go, as you see, I go on and on and on. Just so excited about it.
A whirling dervish.
I've never been called that before or whatever. Sounds good.
I think of the Tasmanian devil. You've got so much energy, except I feel bad calling a pastor the devil. It's the way you're like, the energy around you is just so, I guess I take that back because that's just chaotic. And the energy around you, Morris, is much more uplifting. So yeah, that's not a good analogy.
Positive chaos.
Okay. All right.
Chaos.
With that.
It is chaos, but it's positive and organized.
Yes. Mars, I will put links to, you sent me social media links, and I'll put them in the show notes for people to find you. I know that you're on Facebook and on Instagram, and I know from the couple of library meetings that you've attended that you're always willing to reach out to people. So if people want to reach out to Morris, they can ask me for your email address, or you can connect with him on social media. So my final question for you is, what advice would you give to someone new in the business or someone who's been in business for a while?
For someone new in the business, it's connect yourself with someone that's been doing it for a long time and just start serving them. Don't ask for help. Start helping them. And by you helping them, you're going to learn yourself. You're just giving them free value, what they need. And you just, work with them, and then you'll get their connections, and then they'll want to serve, you'll be served by serving them just by the things you pick up. Right. And for someone that's in business for a while, I would say stay with it. The storm always passes. You don't quit. And if you feel like quitting, reach out to someone that you see that you might envy that they're doing it, that you're not, or, reach out to someone that can bring you through the next phase of your business, so you don't stay stagnant and lose that fire.
Okay. I think that's great advice. Morris, it is a delight every time I get to speak with you. Thank you so much for taking the time to talk with me today. I really appreciate it.
Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate being on and the opportunity.
I really hope that you enjoyed hearing from Morris today. He has such a tremendous amount of energy, and I've had the privilege of being on a couple of library meetings with him, and he brings that same energy to it, and he's so willing to share and help other people that I just knew it would be a great opportunity to talk with him. I will put links to Morris's various businesses and his social media in the show notes. And if you need to reach out to him or would like to have have his email, please reach out to me. I'm happy to get that for you. Thank you so much for listening. I hope you have a great day.